you talking to Sal? Me?
Yeah, I'm talking to you. Yeah, I'm talking
Yeah,
to you.
yeah, I can hear you loud and clear. You can hear me okay?
I can hear you perfectly well. I love that
Perfect.
you have like the headphones. Like you're set up.
Yeah, man, I'm in IT, dude, so I kind of get the idea, and I was already prepping ahead, so did all the
Oh,
testing.
dang. That makes our job a lot easier for
Of course,
sure.
man. I totally know. You got to be prepared.
So, how long did it take you to select the background?
I always feel like, should I go comical or not? It took me should I rub some people the wrong way with some of the stuff I wanted to do?
Ah, no, no, no. This is
So I'm
good.
like, no, it's like, let me just do my skyline and that's it. I was trying to find an SB Houston one, and I couldn't get one in time, but it's all good.
Ah, man. Okay, perfect. That's awesome, man. Hey, dude, I'm super pumped that we get to have a conversation today because I know we've always had like in crossing, and it's always been busy around
Yeah.
the times that we've been able to like have conversations. And I've always like loved having the conversations with you. So I'm glad that you've been able to carve out some time to have
Oh man, I'm
this
grateful for
time.
the opportunity. I'll tell the story live on how I felt when you reached out to me. But I prepped up a document, things I want to ask, or some shout outs and stuff. So
Dude,
this is
that's
my
awesome.
first time doing a podcast, so this is super cool for me.
Yeah, so we're just gonna loosen up here. We're gonna have a conversation. We're gonna get to know you, and obviously, like, plug in those questions whenever you feel you'd
Sure.
like to, and of course, like, I want to honor that at the end where you can give a couple shout outs to people and stuff. So we got DH over here just watching, saying what's up.
What up, DH?
Awesome. All right, cool. So today's episode is gonna be focused around Gresham here, who's been a street parking member for how long?
4.5 years.
You've been a member 4.5 years, who's also part of the Street Parking Dad community. You're a father of one,
Yeah, 12 year
right?
son.
12-year-old son, single dad.
Yeah, single dad.
Okay, cool. I've got to meet your son because you brought him to Fitness Freedom.
Yes. Yeah. So
Dang.
I mean, he was. That's probably the first time he got his introduction of what kind of, lack of a better word, cult that I'm a part of now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But I mean, that was his first time. It's also my first time. So, and I didn't want to go alone. So, I mean, what better way to break it in to go with your son
Dude,
and
that's
just
so
kind of
cool.
meet the community.
Okay, so if I'm 4 years ago, that means you became a member in 2020 or 2019?
2020 May.
Okay, so May, March, April. Oh, so you were like part of the COVID signups.
That's correct. Well, the story behind it was really, so I did CrossFit in 2014. And from CrossFit, obviously, you guys know COVID 2020, lost my job. And at that point, I had to slash everything. And so in 2020 May, a friend of mine, I've been seeing things about street parking. I had no idea what it was. So I joined CrossFit-based workouts. So I joined, and honestly, I never looked back.
Okay, so in 2020, okay, so you said you started CrossFit in 2014.
Yes.
Where were you have you always been, you said you're in Houston, right?
Yes.
You always been in Houston?
Born and raised Houston, decided to do my undergrad outside of Houston.
Dang, born and raised in Houston.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whoa.
You don't see a lot of born and raised people here. Most of them are transplants because of the oil and gas community and medical community in Houston. But
Sure.
yeah, born and raised for sure.
How was that? Talk to me a little bit about that upbringing for you.
Houston's great. It's a large city. I mean, you can probably relate to some of it in LA. LA being still spread out. The diversity is great. There's no shortage of food here. The traffic is horrendous. But being cultured is probably the best part of Houston, really. So, I mean, I was grateful for that. And then getting away from home was nice for my undergrad. Went over there I did my undergrad at UT Arlington. And there's a bit of a rivalry between the two cities, Houston, Dallas. There's a no love lost there. But otherwise, I came back home and it's kind of been enjoying it here. So it's been nice. It's hot. That's the only downside, man. It's freaking hot.
Absolutely. That's pretty much what I hear is just the heat. I mean, here's the thing though. I grew up in Central Cali before I moved to LA. So Central Cali is hot. I mean, summertime, I mean, it's just horrible,
Yeah.
Now, obviously, I don't want to like compare it to Houston or Texas in general, but okay, so when you found CrossFit, how'd you even find CrossFit in the first place?
So before I went CrossFit, I was doing 24-hour fitness, just going there, doing the tricep chest workouts and just doing random workouts. And I had a couple of friends who were doing CrossFit. And so I'm in a suburb called Katy on the west side of Houston. And I heard about it, and I was like, well, maybe I'll try it. Her husband and the wife were just like really competitive, so they were explaining some of the workouts I did. And I was like, this is nonsense. Why would you put your body through this stuff?
Yeah.
And so I knew where this facility was, and I was hesitant to go try it. So then, when I wanted to change, I was going through a tough time in life. I mean, the start of a split with the household, and so I just wanted a new community. And so I happened to drive home, and there was a box right outside my entrance of my subdivision. I had no idea it existed there. And so I joined there, and when I was thinking about this podcast, what am I going to tell them? And so I started having flashbacks to my first time going to CrossFit. I love basketball, and so I walked in there with some long basketball shorts. I had some basic tennis shoes. I mean, my coaches used to clown me and say, "What are you wearing here? Dude? You can't be pulling up into CrossFit looking like
a basketball player, like a baller, dude." They can't even judge, man. I don't even remember I was like full Under Armour. For Under Armoured out, and then like I think I owned a pair of Redline shorts at some point. I looked ridiculous, man. So there's no shame in the basketball apparel, man. You're good.
Yeah. So when I started doing the workouts, and I was like, okay, it's all right. And then so the coaches were like, "You sore?" I'm like, "Nah, I'm not sore. Like, I do workouts, and it's just my, so to speak, dumb ego, probably talking at this point." And so I started doing more workouts, and one of the workouts I forget. I wish I remembered that. I saw the workout. I was done. Looked at the coach. Good day. She's like, "You're not done yet. You're supposed to continue to go until the clock is done." I was like, "Oh, that's what AMRAP means, just to keep going."
Mm-hmm.
And then at the end of that workout, I just kind of plopped to the ground, and I was like, "I got my taste. I got my taste." I could never do kipping pull-ups. I couldn't do a pull-up. I couldn't do anything. I've never done barbell workout going into it. Never done wall walks, anything and everything. Uh, Bench press was my weakest thing ever in my life. So
Yeah.
when I look back the last 10 years, in fact, I talked to my buddies a couple months ago. I said, "You ever reflect back on the last 10 years of your growth? Not just in personal life, but, in all your career, personal, health." And I did this in different sectors of my life. And with health, man, I look back to 10 years ago, I couldn't do anything with barbell. And today I'm doing much more, and now part of a community that's quite amazing.
Dude, that's all. Okay, so I'm gonna touch on that really quick, and I love Eddie's comment here. That's like, wish I would have kept my and one shorts, dude.
Yeah, I
That
remember
is,
those.
oh my goodness, the mid shin shorts, bro. So, when you were in high school, what kind of athletics were you in?
No, I wasn't athletic at all. Like, I loved basketball. I had a home court. My dad, so when I look back to my childhood, and so my dad was the one who would go for walks, and he's the one that bought me the basketball goal at home, and I would go out and shoot around. I love sports. The reason I got into sports was because of my dad.
Dude, that's awesome.
And so, he's the one that took me to some games when we could afford tickets. And so I carry those memories with me, and now I pass it along with my son. And so I got into that, but I was never athletic. I tried out seventh grade, eighth grade basketball, and that's when I got a real taste. Like, oh damn, you got to learn how to do a left hand layup. You got to learn how to do different kind of dribbles. I was like, I don't do any of this at home. I just do shooting all the time.
Yeah.
And so it was a really eye opener for me. So in college is where I started to do like intramurals and just do club stuff for basketball, flag football, things of that nature. But no, man, I told a friend of mine the other day, I said, the knowledge I have today and the workouts that I put in today, I wish I could take it back in my 20s. And I had zero kind of strength. A lot of my roommates lifted. They would do bench press. They would do all kinds of things. It's a funny story. First time I ever heard 21s. I said, okay, yeah, I can do 21s. I go over there and did a set of 21. Next day, I had to go to class. And my arms are like halfway up. I could not stretch them all the way down because I had severe soreness on my bicep because I did 21s for the first time ever in my life. Damn. I had to go to the nurse and get painkillers.
Full wrap though, huh? You were just like, it was really bad soreness.
Yeah, intense, man. I'll never forget that pain. It's embarrassing to walk like that along campus with your hands like this. You can't really stretch them all the way down, but it's a hilarious memory for me. So yeah, I wasn't athletic at all, man. It's all just been I enjoy the grit and the hard work of it, really, to see the growth. Uh, so when I look at guys like you and Miranda and all you guys, DH, I mean, uh, I like to pick up on tips and tricks. So I was a huge Kobe Bryant fan.
Mm,
I like the way he studies the game. And so today, like if I can learn a tip or trick to, let's say, unlock how to be better in my snatches, okay, I'm listening, because that's one of my weaknesses. So
mm.
it's kind of
Oh
how I
man. Yeah, I mean that. Yeah, you're talking about those tactical movements for sure, and I'm assuming those are probably some of your questions that you might have later. But before we even get into those, like
yeah.
for you, do you have any siblings?
I've got a younger sister. We're like 6 years apart.
Nice. You guys close?
Somewhat close. Yeah. I mean, probably like, I think when I went to college, she was still in middle school.
Mm.
So we didn't really connect during that's where the age gap really hit. So, but in the past, I'd say 10 years or so, it's been much better. We connect. We're always talking and sharing things. So yes, I'd say that.
What about your parents? They're still in the area?
Yeah, they live like 15 minutes from me.
Oh, that's
So
nice.
I typically go every Sunday there for dinner. Uh, they probably just want to see my son more than me, but no, you know, but no, I go there every Sunday. And I was telling a friend the other day, I said, there's 52 weeks in the year. And the week I'm not able to come to the house, my mom's like, this is the problem. You guys never want to do anything. I said,
Oh my goodness.
I'm a 95% clip here. And you're complaining about the two times I don't come to the house.
Were your parents, did they live, where they are, did they live in Texas or they moved to Texas?
Yeah, so they come from South India, a state called Kerala. And
Oh
so
man,
my
so
dad,
you're that first generation then.
I'm first gen here.
Oh
Yeah.
man, so when you were saying that, I could just hear the tone in your mother and like how it's like it's your fault.
Yeah. It's always well. There's no accountability but a lot of things my dad came here and did his undergrad in the US. And then he went back to India, got married, moved to Philadelphia, stayed there. My mom couldn't handle the snow. And then we had a really good, my dad's best friend lives in Houston. And so they moved to Houston. The rest was history.
Dang, so when you said diversity for Houston, is there a big Indian population in Houston?
Yeah, I mean, now it's Houston. I think right now today is right up there with New York, if I saw correctly, in the most number of diversity cultures here. The most cultures in one city.
Dang,
It's right up there. But yeah, even before there was quite a few Indians here back then too.
dang, that's awesome, man. Okay, so now let's jump fast forward to college.
Yeah,
You started adopting fitness for you, and at what point were you just like, all right, this is a lifestyle of mine, and how was that for you?
I would say like in college, I wasn't consistent at all. I just played basketball and sports. That was my only mindset, just to play sports. I did racquetball, I did basketball, and I did flag football for fun. Uh, Actually, after I graduated and moved back to Houston, my dad told me, he said, why don't you join 24 Hour Fitness?
Mm,
And this is back in 2001, 2002. And I was like, yeah, that's fine. So I couldn't find a job at that time because the market was saturated after 9/11. And then here in Houston is a former company called Enron. Um, and so when that happened, everything was horrible. And so then I started to work at, I joined 24 Hour Fitness to work out. I didn't know jack man in 24 Hour Fitness. I just saw the machines. I would just do a few
it's just
things.
Men's Health magazine.
That's it. Even that, man. Yeah, to try to write it down or something like that. And a buddy of mine, I got him to join. He and I go back to seventh grade. We make friends today, and I got him to join. And he would do anything. He would just stick to the cardio machine. I said, give me 30 days, dude. Just try to live some way. Just go to the machine. Let's just do a couple. And after 30 days, if you choose not to, you don't feel like any change, you don't feel happy about it, go back to the cardio machine. No problem. And he stuck with it. And so now today, he and I could do completely different workouts. But
Sure.
my fitness journey started at 24 Hour Fitness, and I would just do things here and there. But it's totally changed today, man. It doesn't even come close.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely, the evolution of fitness. I would say. So, would you say you're definitely a lot fitter now than you were 10 years ago?
100%.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%. I had to go play basketball last year, actually 2 years ago. And on the court, and we were playing. I asked these guys next to me at the free throw line. I said, "Man, how old are you?" He said, "I'm 19." And I said, "How old is your buddy over here?" He said, 20, 21. I said, "Dude, I'm 43 at that time, and I'm running with 20-year-olds playing." And I was like, "Man, this is kind of nice. My body's taking the pounding of playing
Hmm.
basketball, but there's no way we would be able to do it without the fitness I've been doing actually." So there's some pride in that internally
Absolutely.
for me, especially when you're running with these young guns. I think it's great. Now I don't have speed or anything like that, but it's nice. It's definitely nice. This is where I said I wish I had the strength I have today back then.
For sure. But I'm assuming now you take that mind and you're starting to show. Is Dom working out with you?
It's funny you ask about this. So just to give you some history with Dominic, he's done a few workouts with me. He's been in some videos and stuff like that. And so, what I try to do every year is at the end of the year, he and I go out to dinner. I take him out to dinner and I say, "Hey, let's review the year. What are the wins? What are some of the areas we got to work on? And then tell me what are your goals." So this year he has said he's going to do more workouts. And then the other day I checked him. I said, "Hey, if I pull out this goal book of ours, you said you wanted to do more workouts. You haven't been living up to those goals. So you've got 3 months, or a little more than 3 months left in the year." He said, "Yeah, I know. I'm going to try to start working out." I said, "Okay." But I don't want to push, but I am at that now. I'm at like, "Hey, come on," trying to nudge him along because now I can help him do certain things. And he's already way ahead of me in general at the
Sure.
same age. But I feel like he has so many levels he can hit that I never would hit that at that age.
That's so good, man. Is he into any sports right now?
Right now, he's not playing. So he does flag football, he does basketball. Those are his two favorites. But we just recently did started getting pickleball, and so I started with we started beginning of August, and so I bring him along for pickleball, and so he and I are in a team together. We just play, and we just played yesterday together. So I'm trying to teach him something young and new that's new to me. I've only been playing for a month as well.
Yeah.
Just something for us to kind of bond and connect on.
Oh man, I can't even stress that enough. I mean, for me, you said your dad got you into fitness. Some of the biggest like core memories I have, especially in that age range, 12 to 16. My dad was super involved in my life. We'd always go to the YMCA after he got off of work to either go play racquetball, ping pong, soccer, basketball. I mean, I have to say a lot of my athleticism came from him, and it's just such a good bond. So that's so good, man.
Yeah, it's good, and when I think my mom had said a quote years ago, and this is when I was a kid, and I don't think I ever knew that it would hit like it is today. And it's a saying that everybody knows: health is greater than wealth. And I preach that to my buddies, my boys. I tell them take care of your health because you could have all the money in the world, and you can't enjoy it if you're going to be sick all the time or not
Well,
taking
think
care of it.
think about that, right? Like you bring up you're in your 40s and you're like, man, I feel good. I can hang with the 20-year-olds, but more importantly, you can hang with your 12-year-old, right? Because
Yeah.
that's like next level energy. I sit back and Miranda and I kind of talk about this all the time. You see people even in their mid 30s or even 40s that just have a hard time moving. And it's sad, right? Because the kiddos just want, I mean, now knowing, hey, this is a huge way to add core memories to your child, and how important that is.
No, you're right. I mean, when your kid's a sponge, so they see everything in how you speak, how you move, whether it's fitness or not fitness. I mean, they see it. And so, yeah, I mean, these are the tools that you guys have given us really have really helped in just being able to train our kids. But then also, like, I share this kind of knowledge to my friends, and I tell them, like, hey, you don't have to go to an hour to the gym. I can give you a 10-minute workout. I promise you. I give you the look, like 10 minutes, bro. Come on, 10. I said, I promise you, 10 minutes, you will be gassed. I promise.
For
And,
sure.
and I think I never had that mentality until I got to CrossFit. That, hey, they're like 7 minutes, 8 minutes, 12 minutes. And I look at the coach, like, really, 12 minutes? This is when I was a rookie. And I was like, this should be fine. And I already know now, like, never underestimate those short minute workouts because they'll
Oh
get you.
man, those are the worst. Those are the worst.
They really are.
Um, Work. What? So you're in IT. You're in tech.
Yeah, so I full time remote. I work for a company based out of Tulsa. So we do inpatient, outpatient, and teleneural services
Hmm.
for the Midwest and for rural areas. So we also help Native Indian clients as well. So I'm just a small cog in the wheel, which I handle IT for the team. We've got a number of neurologists that do some exceptional work helping out patients.
You get to do all that stuff from home?
Yeah, once a month I'll fly to Tulsa, and I didn't get to post it, but about I want to say in July, yeah, July, or June, I think I finally stepped into a box for 5 years, and I said, you know what, I'm in town, let me give it a try, and I said, okay, yeah, and so I rep street parking, and the owners were like, yep, we're very familiar with street parking. One of the ladies was like, oh, I know Miranda and Julian, like they follow you as well, follow you guys. So that was cool, and I was able to hang with the workouts at least. So I didn't feel like it was like I'm a shocker. It was a hard workout, but it was nice to just go in and just do something a little different and see what the community was like as well.
I absolutely. I do the same thing. Anytime we travel, and I always have like a guilt feeling around that, which is like, oh, you're the owner of street parking. Like, how's it going to look if you go into a CrossFit gym? But the thing is, Miranda can settle in, knock out her fitness in a hotel,
Yeah,
and but I, I love community, man. Like, especially in person. So anytime we travel, I'll look up a local box. I'll try to roll up in there, hit some fitness, with the crew, and just kind of say what's up. And it fills my cup, man. It really does. Um, because we're so used to training with ourselves. Not really us here, because we have a community even around, and we can host workouts at our garage. But yeah, when we travel, it's easy go to, and I don't feel guilty about that anymore.
yeah, that's the key part. But I mean, I don't think I would have had the tools today without you guys in terms of when you travel, the kind of workouts you can do, even the body weight stuff. Even if and the mindset is you have to have some sort of equipment, as in a dumbbell or something heavy to prove that it's a valid workout, but that's not true really. And so that's been great. When I've gone on a road trip, I took a sandbag with me, and I did the sandbag workouts on the beach. I never really, it was until, like you said, looking up for the nearest box. I haven't done that. This is probably the first time. Uh, you're always the lonely guy. I mean, you kind of, I can understand like if you've never been to a box and you're kind of intimidated or kind of nervous going in, but you kind of know the workouts. Like I kind of look at the workouts like, okay, mentally I prepare myself
Hmm.
before I go in, and so I like, okay, I already know strategy wise what I'm going to do here. And so then it's just a matter of getting to know people at that
Absolutely. You were when you found CrossFit back in the day. How old were you?
point. I was 35.
Okay, so 35. How would you say from 35? Yeah, that's okay. So now, what are we, like almost 10 years later, right? Yeah, 10
10
years
years.
later. Wow, that's such an awesome thing to be able to say. I feel fitter now at just about 45 than I did when I was 35.
Easily. It's not even a debate, man. I
Whoa.
mean, it's not a debate at all. The knowledge and just the way I feel, even nutrition wise, what I've learned, it's, man, it's awesome really, because I saw there's a lot of preconceived notions of what a dad is supposed to look like, or how he's supposed to look like and feel in your 40s. And I'm like, man, oh my dear, let me see if we can take this to another level, and and see what happens. And man, it's fun. It's The journey's fun, and the workouts are tough. I think you guys even did the whole Tough Mudder and Spartan thing,
Hmm.
and to be able to do those obstacles, and it's like, man, it's a fun feeling, really, because you start to build confidence within, and that's probably what I lacked as a kid, because
Confidence.
I that confidence, to do certain things. And I was at underdog role. I still play that underdog role. I love being underdog. I'm not a favorite, and so being that little kid who couldn't be as fast as some of the other kids who, when we used to play kickball at a recess, back then it was like the cool kids versus the non-cool kids. I was on the non-cool kids team, and my goal during that time was to make sure that we got our butts kicked every time. But I remember as a kid, like we beat them one time, and I was like, all right, that'll do it. That's all I needed to know. that we could beat you at one time. So I enjoyed a little bit of competitiveness. Sometimes I just kind of make up stories in my head to get the juices flowing, honestly, because Miranda had done a post or a podcast maybe last year or year before, and she said like the hardest part is when you're on your own working out, because I have every excuse to say, nah, I'll do it later. Nah, I can do it later. Whereas like a designated CrossFit time or whatever workout you do you got to be there at a certain time to start working out at a certain time with the group of people. But when you're by yourself, there's nobody rooting for you. That's it. It's you versus you, or actually it's you versus the clock. And I look at that goal time and I'm like, okay, I try not to get too caught up in the goal times, but it's nice to know that hey, I made it in the range. It's a boost mentally.
I sometimes this is so freaking random, but whatever. I'll just drop this little nugget. You know how in Mario Kart, did you ever have a Nintendo? Was it like a Super Nintendo? Did you ever have that?
Man, my parents wouldn't allow me to have this stuff. Worry about studies only is what they told me.
Oh
I wish.
no!
Yeah, dude.
Nuts.
My cousin bought me one, and then my parents made me told them to return it. You got to worry about studying. But I know what you're talking about. The games my friends had.
So in Mario Kart, they would have like the races, and then you can race like the ghost version of yourself in the time trial. So I'll like kind of tap into that little creative, like, okay, if this version of myself was able to do this, that's the ghost version. It's just the most random stuff, man. But anyway, I just wanted to see what is it that helps you push in those moments. But however, you're not. It doesn't seem like you're as alone anymore. I've been noticing that you and Blair have been linking up to knock out some team. Dude, that's freaking awesome. Tell me how did that start?
Yeah, so Blair I got to know at Rogue Fitness last year when you guys came out in Austin. I knew who he was, and so I just connected with him and got to chat with him, and super cool. And then this year, reached out to him when you guys were going to do the team workouts, and he said, "Let's do it." And at first, I thought we were just going to do one, maybe. And I asked him after the workout, I said, "Hey, it's going to be a one-time thing, or are we going to keep dating here for the rest of the he said, "No, let's keep going."
Dude, that's
and
awesome.
So I said,
I can only imagine how awkward that conversation was. You know how dudes get all awkward, like, so we're a thing here, or we're gonna keep you want to work out next time? Oh man, that's awesome.
Yeah, so he's been great. You probably didn't see, but with one of the workouts 2 weeks ago, I think Caitlin did the same mistake we did. We did that workout twice accidentally. We were supposed to stop. Oof. And because I was like during the workout, I was like, no, I think the ladder's supposed to go back up now. And he's like, oh yeah, I think you're right too. And we did it. And it took us 39 minutes to do that workout. And at the end of it, he's messaging like, hey dude, we were only supposed to do it one time. I said, oh crap.
Ouch.
But that was one of my shout outs was going to be Blair, so I'll give it to him now. And Blair, thank you very much. He's an OG. Mm-hmm. Super cool. We've been trying to get Christine, so if she would get her butt up in the morning and then work out with us one day, a couple of G's, that would be awesome to work out.
Dude, that's so cool. Yeah, that's awesome. I love that you guys are doing that, man. I'm gonna have to get a conversation going so people can get to know him a little bit more in depth. But for you, what has allowed you to go from a box to then stay consistent for like however many years now you've been with Street Parking? Like, what has been like what's latched you and established your roots here? Like, oh, this is good for me.
So I'll be full disclosure, man. In 2020 was hard for me mentally. Mm-hmm. That job loss hit me at 15 months, no job. That was probably one of my dark times in my life. This is my third time getting laid off. And so, but this one was the toughest one, really. Trying to survive it. And I was concerned, like, okay, I don't have CrossFit anymore. What am I going to do to stay fit? There's no health insurance. There's no nothing. It's just strictly state income for me at that time. Mm-hmm. And I joined because it's still $19 a month, whatever it is. And so I thought, okay, this I can handle. And so at that time I lived in an apartment. They had dumbbells and that's all I needed. And so I took my life frustrations in that area. Like that was my place. That was my dungeon, my lab. And I just went to work and that was it. I had no idea about the Instagram stuff that everybody had, the accounts. This is before Fitness Freedom. I kept up in seeing all the posts on Facebook. And so a lot of these things was what helped me. Like the way I handle life, at least sometimes with frustrating things in life, the workouts are what's my release.
Hmm.
That's it. Instead of me letting it fester internally, uh, I can't explain to someone what that feeling is like when you finish a workout and you just feel like on a high. Um, Even if you're laying on the ground, wanting an oxygen tank, but it's a really good feeling. So really, it was my life frustration of life is what carried me at that time,
Hmm.
and then it's the people. Honestly, I had no idea like this would be able to can maintain the fitness and do certain things. And once I kept doing dumbbells, and I didn't have access to a barbell for a really long time. And my concern was, would I be able to still do some barbell workouts like the same level that I used to do? Um, there was no problem. I was relatively really surprised that I could do the barbell movements despite being off of it for almost two plus years.
Dang, man, and so are you still in an apartment? Do you have a home now?
I moved to a home last year, have a garage thing.
Oh,
That's
dude,
another
that's
thing.
awesome.
I never thought I'd have a garage workouts, and I see everybody having these garages with equipment and stuff, and so I got that. But I do have a gym that I still go to because they've got a lot of more weights, and let's be honest, air conditioning is nice,
Yeah, of
at
course.
least down here. So the garage can be kind of brutal during the dog days of summer. But so I go to a gym when I need to, and then I go to my garage when it needs to. Like all workouts, I just do with in the garage with Blair.
And how often do you and Blair get together for your guys' workout sessions?
We try to do it every Saturday.
Oh, okay. So once a
That's,
week. Throughout the week, do you have like are you just kind of dialed in your own zone, or do you have a community out there, or like a friends that you invite to work out, or
no, I've been fortunate. Like a couple of people have done workouts outside of Blair. Worked out with Gabe and Miori out there in LA. So super cool people, despite them being Dodger fans. That's another story for another day. Uh, I've had worked out with Nikki. She's great out of San Antonio. Uh,
cool?
Dawn, Cookie Monster in
Hmm.
Arizona.
Hmm.
So I'm always game for a partner workout because misery loves company.
Dude, that's so cool, man. For you, when did you finally uh, adopt like the mindset of fitness freedom? Because earlier you brought up how when you travel, you'll take a sandbag with you or a dumbbell. What broke you of the mold for being able to essentially have permission to be like, oh, I'm just going to change it up, and I'm getting in movement for the sake of health as opposed to performance. Like, when did that shift happen to you?
I don't have an exact timeline, but I'd say a lot of things that you guys put out, the message wise, I would follow and absorb that information because I'm very structured. So whatever you program there, okay, I'm going to do that. That's it. Like there's no switching around or anything like that. And it was really like seeing all these members. Like I think you probably did it last week. One of the workouts you took the D ball.
Hmm.
Do you remember that?
Hmm.
And so you swapped it. I was like, D ball never comes to my mind.
Hmm.
Never. I have one here, but I never. When I did it the first time, like this is ridiculous. This is really hard to
Yeah.
work with this thing. Uh, and I was like, man, this is brutal. But it never came to my head to switch up stuff or to understand how your body feels. And that's one of the things with CrossFit for me is there was so much. There was a lot of soreness sometimes. You go and you come back and they would great shoulder workout again. Great, I'm already beat up right here. I got to do it again. And that's where I wish there was a message of like, hey, you want to do this? How about this option? The customization, the freedom to do something else. But then also the bigger component for me was my mind telling my mind that you're not doing less just because you switched it up.
Right.
So the workout called for this, and I'm like, no, I'm going to go switch it to this, or even go to shift, and me not feeling like no, you didn't feel like you did the workout, you didn't do a good enough job. It felt easy, and so I tried to today. I'm not even worried about that. Really, it took a while to change that mentality, honestly.
Dude, that's awesome. Even for myself, I remember it actually took Miranda was the one who broke me of this idea that I had to keep things so structured when I was competing back in the day. Because I asked her, I was like, "How do you guys, or how does Kalipa train?" He's like, he just does the most random stuff and he just goes for it and he just has fun. It's fun. Every session is brutal and painful, but it's fun. Now, obviously, not every session in street parking has to be brutal and painful. We actually try to advise against that. But it's the whole concept of having fun with your fitness, right?
Mhm.
Because as soon as it becomes like too structured, sometimes people can constantly seek to break that routine and go into another routine. Where I'm hoping, and that's why I went back to posting that D-ball, because a lot of times D-balls just collect dust in their garages, and I can't stress enough how much I try to push people to invest in their equipment, because once you start to do that, then fitness really starts to take life of its own. You can have fun with it, start to learn how to do squat clean thrusters, deep all over. There's just so much, and you're just constantly challenging yourself within the structure of what we put out. Um, so what do you find yourself mostly primarily training with now? Dumbbell, barbell, sandbag?
It's both. It's really dumbbell and barbell. Uh, Dumbbells are close to my heart because that's how I survived 2020 and on. To that for me, like when you guys do Project April, I'm like, oh, this game on, let's
Yeah.
go. Not a big deal at all. I'm all for it. And really, because at CrossFit you do barbell work. That's it. Very little dumbbell work in there. And so when we started this whole project, it wasn't until I realized like how hard dumbbells are
Mm-hmm.
because of the isolation movement, And so
Mm-hmm.
you would do these workouts, and I'm like, man, this is really tough. My body was so used to barbell because you can overcompensate on one side with a dumbbell. You're not cheating that game, man. That left side for me is going to be nope, you're on your own, buddy. You got to pull your weight with the right side, and so that's the one thing I have no problem with. With the vaults, I've noticed that Blair and I will mix it up. That's where the fitness freedom is coming in. And so we try to mix it up. We've done sandbags, we've done dumbbell, and we've done barbell as well. I just sent them today's. The vault workout, team workout came out today, and I sent it over to them. So we're already strategizing how to get through this one.
This week's one?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it the double triangle? It was, right? Oh, that was
No,
brutal.
no, the new one coming out. This.
That's right. This upcoming. That's right.
Yeah. Oh, that devil's triangle was horrible. Yes, you're right.
That one was brutal. Miranda and I did the live version of it, and I got wrecked on that one for sure.
Yeah.
Friday nights we have this thing where we do pizza night Fridays, so we always
Yeah.
go intensity on Fridays, and then we do pizza night with the kiddos later that day.
I do the same thing with the pizza thing. We make pizza here, and I pick out a movie, and we just hang out and watch a movie and have pizza.
That's cool, man. How what's your schedule with your kiddo right now?
Yeah, we've got a very cordial relationship, the ex and I, and so she lives about 4 miles from here.
Cool.
So we don't have like designated days. So, for example, like he was with me yesterday, he would have been with me today. The weekends with her. Monday, Tuesday would be with me. It just keeps on rolling, and that's it. But for me, it's been communication, and that's it. We're both on top of it. And truthfully, if I'm being fully up, the best compliment that I have received about my son is really from his teachers when they say, we can't tell it comes from two different homes.
Wow.
And so that for me is powerful because it tells me the work that she and I are doing to make sure Dominic is having a great time, just like two homes. And that's what it's about. There's no difference really. For me, it's important that he sees that I have a cordial relationship and supportive with his mom and with anybody, honestly, because the truth is he's my legacy. So I keep that high regard.
How during that time when so you seems there was like a split in your in the family, also like the job, was fitness a big part of your life during that season of your life?
Yeah, that split is when the CrossFit started to happen.
Okay,
And
that's
that's
when you
where
found the
yeah,
community there.
yeah, I just needed an outlet, new people, and it was something to just look forward to, really. Even though I got my butt kicked every time, and I couldn't figure out why I kept coming back to get my butt kicked, but it's just something I look forward to go back there and work out. So mentally, it felt good to, hey, I did 1 hour of work and I did doing things that I never thought of. And so that's been the best part for me because I keep looking back to my childhood, the things I couldn't do, and I'm like, it just took time to get to where I am today.
What are some of the biggest challenges that you find like kind of get in your way of fitness and right now, and how do you overcome them?
My buddy has asked me, like, how do you keep doing this? And I said, well, it's a non-negotiable for me. I
Hmm.
said, uh, I look at my work meetings, I look at my schedule for the week, where I'm going out to eat if I am. Uh, I plan everything else around it. So if I say work, I don't plan work first. For me, it's workout and my health first, and then everything goes around it. So if I got meetings in the morning, then I'll work out around lunchtime or something like that. If I got meetings at lunchtime, I like to do it at morning. It's kind of like you, where I know those early morning workouts, you're not a fan of. Miranda used to do those early morning
Hmm.
workouts, right? So I used to do 6 a.m. at CrossFit. And then the pandemic happened and everything. And I was like, oh, I could do 8, 9. I had all the time in the world. And now I can't even do 6 a.m. My buddy last a couple of weeks ago when we were in Tulsa, he's like, hey, come work out with me. I said, what time? He said, class starts at 5 a.m. Leave 4:30 a.m. I said, no, dude, I'm out. I'm not joining you at 5 a.m. Because I know my body. Now my body's used to,
Sure.
I get a little fuel in me, and
Yeah.
then I can go do that workout around 10 or whatever. So I revolve everything around my workouts.
Dude,
No,
yeah, for me, like, forget about it. It's not that I couldn't work out at those early times. It's just going to be a different level of energy. I'm just going to be going through the motions more than tackling it, like having the energy to really hit it hard, you know? And depending on what the movements are too, man, it's rough. Yeah. That was like a season of my life that I was like, great, early 20s, fine, I could do it. No way.
no, I don't know if you remember this, but at Rogue Austin, you and Miranda did an early morning workout before coming to Rogue. And dude, your eyes were red and everything. I mean, it was crazy. You were
I
just
was
out of
I,
it.
I was disoriented, bro. I was like,
Yeah,
give me my salts, give me my dude. It takes a toll on me, man. And I also recognize too that it's just the season of life that we're in right now. We got the 3 kiddos, a lot of stuff's going on, and so we just kind of find ways to get our fitness in. Again, going back to like, what's our schedule look like today? It's hard, man, but we're kind of starting. If it feels like we're starting to get to a place where we can have a little bit more consistency in our schedule, but no, I get that, man. I get it.
I noticed that you guys, because yesterday you did that workout, the September workout, right? Because you did the rings,
Mhm.
and but your background has changed. So I'm guessing you guys moved temporarily. It's not the final house yet, right? Or
But it's a disaster right now, man.
okay,
So, but yeah, so randomly I'll do some workouts at like my mom's house, but yeah, or we're at that property because I have rings, and that's another a property that we have there. So we're staying there while we're waiting for our new home to be wrapping up, supposedly at the end of this month. You know, but like any new build, it takes a while, man. Like it's
for sure.
unpredictable, and so we kind of expected that. But um, what I would say that I've really learned to appreciate about this season of my fitness is the fact that I love being random with it now. So like that home has like like a sloped driveway. The amount of times I've done like random carries down and up, or ran around the property just to and then I was able to hang rings up there. It got fun again. It really, really did. And that's what fitness should be about, is just go out and be random with it. And
Yes,
it's
I don't think I had that kind of mentality. Like you said that Miranda had to make it fun. Jason would say make it fun, and I just never had that, man, because I am so structured. Whatever's written there is what I'm doing. My mind never said, "Oh, do something different" or just have fun with it. Uh, Fun to me was trying to get in the goal time. That was just my mentality. That's it, and do what I could do. But now the mindset is changed. I understand my body a little better here. It's all right if I'm not getting that goal time. It's funny. Lately it feels like so. It doesn't bother me, but I think I'm finally getting the idea of like it's all right, just loosen it up a little bit. So I'm not falling into a T. It's all good.
so for you. You said you're a person who likes a lot of like structure in the workouts and stuff. Have you ever found yourself getting to a point where like, oh man, I'm struggling to get into a flow? And if you have, how do you break out of that? Or maybe you haven't.
Um, no, I probably haven't really.
Okay, so you like the structure then. You're like, hey, I thrive in this kind of structure.
Yeah, but when I see other people do it, when I've that they'll do the workout. So, me, I'm going Monday through Thursday. For the longest time, I was doing Monday in order. And then I see people like skip to Friday. It's Sunday, but they already go to Friday. I was like, why would you do that? Like, tomorrow's Monday. Why don't you just do Monday? And so, but it's the whole freedom part of it. And so like now, like I did the vault on Saturday. I would see members do vault on Saturday. I was like, why would you do it Saturday? But I would only do vault on Mondays. That's it. And if I couldn't do it on Monday, then I would pick another day in the week to get it done before submitting the score. Today, I'm like, oh, wait, if I can get this misery done on Saturday, my Mondays are going to be much nicer, actually.
Right.
So it took a little time to get there. I still like the structure, but I also like how people mix it up. It gives me ideas because sometimes I just don't have sometimes the knowledge like you did last week is to throw in the D ball. That's what I don't know. Is when can you mix it in certain equipment? Really, yeah, you can mix it in. You can do whatever you want, but I also want to maximize the intended stimulus that's called for in that workout.
What are your rest days, and then what are your rest days, and how many days a week are you trying to get intensity in?
So this month with the Battle of the Birds, been cranking out 6. We're hoping that back-to-back title. Hopefully, we'll find out today. So shout out to Patos. So that's a plug for them. But I'm usually doing 5 days a week. So Monday through Wednesday, break on Thursday. Sunday is always rest day. And that's it. I don't do a good job, I fully admit, of recovery workouts.
Sure.
The active recovery, that's probably my weakness. More stretching is needed. But that's pretty much my schedule is Monday through Wednesday, break Thursday, Friday and Saturday I'll work out. And that's pretty much it. I mean, this past month was a crank. It was trying to push them out, crank it out because we want that back to back. But outside of that, that's it.
That's awesome, man. That's really cool. Okay, so I know you said you had some questions that you wanted to ask. Bring them out.
Yeah, I got questions and I got feedback or just kind of.
I would love it. Yeah, dude, absolutely.
So, like the SP Dev team, because IT. I'm just curious, like if you you guys are planning to add more features into the app, one of them would be great. Would be a search feature that's indexed with filters. That way, if I type in Brosesh, boom, it's all there. Or based on the movement, I feel like doing snatches today. If I just hit snatches, it pulls up everything instead of me having to click all the way down through. So I hope that's coming. I don't know.
Oh man, that one's definitely been a huge top priority of ours. One of the things that we've learned by starting our own app, and then it was needed. Back in the day we had Wi-Fi and we were limited with what we wanted to do because we were our own business, right? Like, hey, we capped out what they built their programming for. So we're like, either we keep hiring people to do all this janky manual work, or we just or we continue to tack on third-party services, or do we bring on our own dev team? And then that's what happened. And then just realizing how long that stuff takes. You're like, oh, hey, what's the priority? What's this? So the search feature is definitely something that we definitely want to incorporate. We've been having this conversation for a while. So just, patience on that one. But it definitely is something that we will bring in the future.
Sweet. That's a great idea. I don't know if you're able to reveal anything for 2025, if the boss will approve any kind of sneak peek for 2025, what may be coming, any events maybe. I do have an idea because, I think last year you guys did Tough Mudder and you did Spartan. Have you guys thought about maybe doing High Rocks? Because High Rocks is up our wheelhouse in terms of movements.
Yeah, I would say that's the beauty of like this community, right? And what I really loved about 2023 is how we just kind of started dabbling into different fitness realms or fitness events. And we just kind of we rolled up, we're street parking.
Yeah.
We train for everything random and we can do it because this is how our fitness is our lifestyle. I would say we have had the discussion of High Rocks, and maybe in 2025 we do like a High Rocks meetup and we dabble into it a little bit more. It's definitely not off the books. This year has been more of like trying to restabilize a lot of stuff behind the scenes. So just kind of focusing more on that and not getting, because we gave so much out. We gave so much out and time commitment and everything that we kind of had to recenter a little bit. But yeah, in 2025, what I will say, obviously, we have a brand new theme vault that I'm super pumped to be revealed, brand new workouts, and there's new competitions coming up that I actually think people are going to have a lot of fun with. Um, there's certain things we're going to take out. And what else? What else? What else? But yeah, as far as meetups go, well, and Caitlin and I have had this conversation heavily, and Miranda's actually pushed for this as well. We realized because we had that Vegas meetup recently,
Mhm.
and it was cool. But you get to a point where if something's a little bit too organized, it's not. It doesn't have that like barbecue feel, that outdoor barbecue feel to it. Where like, hey, people could just hang out, get comfortable, chat. You know, um, so maybe doing more like smaller meetups where
Yep.
we come hang out and we just kind of get a barbecue going and just get some cornhole, and that way you guys can all talk to each other and it's more of a relaxed setting, more like a bring your own food kind of deal. And that's something that Caitlin and I have been going back and forth on,
Mhm.
and creating that culture a little bit and just kind of empowering the members to do that as well. So that's a push that we'll be doing. As you see, like even for September, for the Sisyphus meetups, like or the September meetups, there's like almost 50 of them
Yep.
scheduled. That's super cool. But yeah, those are just some of the things.
No, that's great. I mean, I think you hit it there at the end when you said the little small meetups. If you guys, because you guys are so large across the U.S., it's very hard for anybody from the East to come over to Vegas. Let's say if you did one, even again, these are just ideas. If you did one in each kind of region, one on the East, one of them, I'm going to say Texas because it's central, and then you did one on the West Coast. Then everybody can figure out which one do you want to go to logistic wise, right?
Yeah.
But again, I enjoyed last year really. I think this year, obviously, I kind of put two and two together that last year was a lot of energy and logistics and just the entire team was probably maxed out. And this year, a little quietness for sure, but I totally get it. Looking forward to 25, hopefully to maybe on par with 23. That would be awesome though.
Yeah, like I know Miranda just got an email that Rogue wants us to come out to, where are they doing the invitational? I'm not really sure where Rogue's doing
I
the
don't know.
invitational, but it's like across the country, which is kind of like, dang, that would be kind of cool. See if we get any members out there. But it is a very interesting blend of trying to figure things out with our personal life and then the business, right? And
Sure.
because some of that stuff took its toll for sure, and we're just like trying to kind of reestablish ourselves, um, and really soaking up the season of life that we're in with the kiddos, and even for us. It's like how much of our energy do we want to put out on a yearly basis? Because the events, you're right, it's all hands on deck, and it pulls from those resources, and especially when you have like, it's one thing when you have events like Fitness Freedom, but when you get to the venue where it's like 300-400 people, it's hard, man, because the whole team loves to have conversations like this with members, and then but you can tell people all want to have conversations. You're like, man, so there's like pros and cons to big events, but I've
No, I
recognized
get
like trying to bring it back to like more smaller local ones, and it's not as like structured. That's a vibe.
Plus, your social battery probably drains, right? I mean,
Oh my gosh.
I'm guessing you're either extrovert or introverted. Miranda's either introverted. I think she's introverted, right?
So for us, Miranda is she is an extrovert, I guess, what maybe call it, but when she's on stage, she has a very good poised presence and how she delivers,
Yeah.
her messaging. It's very well. She preps so much, like she'll have notes, everything, 3 4. It's a lot of prep work.
For
Where I'll go
sure.
up there and I'll probably say something that gets me canceled, and I'm just like, oh shoot. I'm just like, yeah, I'm very. However, if we switch the roles and we on the groundwork, like Fitness Freedom, I'll go out there and start talking to everybody. And she's like, I'm going to go back into behind the scenes,
Yep.
you know. And we talk about this all the time because, she's done, close to 300 seminars. And so she's used to kind of delivering a message in that way. But she would always talk about how when people after the seminar, she was just completely drained and actually wanted to go back into her hotel room and just kind of shut down. So I think we kind of complement each other very well when it comes to that. Mm-hmm.
No, that's great because I got a quick start to Fitness Freedom. Everything you just said there. So when I first came to Fitness Freedom, Didn't know anybody, just me and my son. That's it. And so we walk up. It's actually on my personal Instagram page before I had street parking Instagram page. And I see this hand come out with veins. And I'm just like, I look up and I'm like, holy crap, it's Julian, you know? And you pull me in for a hug. I was like, I never would have thought this. I'm hugging Julian, you know? And so
Oh yeah, I'm a
I was
COVID
like,
spreader. I'm a COVID spreader. I'll hug everybody and just like for sure.
yeah. So, and then I met everybody. And so Miranda hadn't met her the whole day. And so when you said that she probably tends to hide away, or she's doing the workout. So you remember at the end of the first Fitness Freedom, Jeb is doing the
Maintenance.
yoga session. Yeah,
Mhm.
maintenance session. So I'm talking to one of the members, and corner of my eye, I have sunglasses on. I see Miranda walking. I was like, okay, this is my chance. This is my chance. This is it. And so I took off my shades like I'm MacGyver or something. And I was like, boom, put my hand. I was like, hey, I'm Gresham, you know, and we talked. I took a picture. Her first comment to me was, oh, I see you have an Android phone. I was like, man, you know, right off the bat, she fired off one.
Oh, but she's so sarcastic though. Like
Oh, I know.
she is snappy and witty, and and I'm glad that you had that interaction with her. But yeah, we've definitely recognized like each one of our personalities and our strengths and weaknesses for sure. But yeah, that's what we do. Mm-hmm.
So I know you asked me about my sons. I'd like to equally ask you how your boys doing.
They're doing good, man. We actually had Knox and start school. He's doing this private school really close to our new home, and today, which was which was very interesting because he had gone in, and he did great for 10 minutes, and then next thing you know, Miranda's out there talking to a different mother, and then he like books it out of the school, and luckily she saw him, and he kind of had a moment of panic, because we had plans to homeschool him, but it's not the right season, and we kind of wanted to add a separator between Banner, Knox was 7 and Banner, a 4-year-old. You could tell that they were just constantly, there was just so much hot and cold, a lot of resentment building up. You're just like, oh, maybe you guys just need a little bit of space from each other. But they're doing good, man. I mean, Banner starts as well tomorrow. Kiddos are growing up healthy and strong, and it's precious, man. It really, really is a precious season of life. And I think we've gotten out of like the heavy thick of it, of like the no sleep. Now, at least all of them, you can say, hey, go to sleep. And at least they'll respect and they'll lay down next to us, whether they're tossing and turning. But we're hitting a beautiful stage in parenting life for sure.
The youngest is, what's his name again?
So you have Knox, Banner, and Crew.
So is Crew, this is what I've been observing with parents of 3 kids. Is Crew different, completely different than the other 2? So usually the other 2 are probably one's like you and one's like mom, but the third one is like totally different.
He's definitely a good stabilizer in the family. Like adding that third edition has been very special. Like he is definitely was called to be part of our family, and because he, both older brothers completely love him. He can try to pounce on Knox, and Knox just laughs it off, and he loves him so much. And then, but he's so silly. He really riles them up in a good way. He's just a silly guy, man. So, yeah, Crew is he's one of a kind, man. He really is one of a kind.
Are we good on time?
Oh, dude, we're good. Yeah, we're good.
Okay. So I had a question for you because, for you, Miranda, and most of your team have been to the games, I guess, and excelled really well in these workouts. So when you do a street parking workout, and let me ask you, how old are you?
I'll be 35 in 2 weeks.
Okay.
Less. Yeah, 10 days.
Okay. Super young, man. Your body's still functional.
It's starting to break down. I was actually shooting demos today with Cole, and I have this like ankle injury. And she's like, what's going on? I was like, oh, my ankle's flared up. From what? I was like, I think it's just from age.
Oh man, yeah. Come on. So I wanted to ask you, like, how do you, like, when you see the workout, you know what you're capable of doing. Mm-hmm. You know the window of time, you know the level of weight. At any point during the workout, does your ego kick in at all? And what I say is, let's say you missed the mark that you wanted. How do you check yourself? I'm just really curious. So especially for you guys who are high performing, does it bother you or not? Or you just see it as a workout, it's all good? Like that phase of your life with competing is gone. But today, do you still want to hit that mark?
Yeah, that comes around, and I would say it's not even just for her and I, right? Like For us, you have to keep in mind our fitness has definitely peaked because we were at the top
Sure.
0.001%, and it's now at a decline. However, our health and fitness has stabilized, right? Because when you're competing at that level, you're not really healthy. You're just super fit.
Hmm.
So my nutrition was garbage. Now, what I will say is when you see the games pop up or when you see, the open, it's all every year it's still hard not to feel the need to get sucked into it or like, oh, cool, maybe I'll take a stab at Masters but man, I asked myself like, what are you fueling? What are you trying to fuel for in this situation? Because in order to do that, it requires a different level of training. It's less on the health side, it's more on the fitness side. And so for me, I would say that I've gotten better at accepting like, okay, hey, you are still part of the 1%. Don't wreck yourself. Be a father. Be able to function in society, and be a good civilian out there, and help others, help inspire others. You don't need to do that. Like, you don't need to be fitter to do that, And so for example, my ankle injury, I started doing a workout today that had running. And then, 3 rounds in, I stopped because it was like really bothering me and I went to a bike. Or
Hmm.
same thing. It's like, why am I doing 24-inch box? Just do a 20-inch box. So I'm not miserable through it and I'm focusing on moving well. But don't get me wrong, if there's ever a day where I get like really good sleep or I feel very fueled up and I'm in the right energy or in the right mode, I'll go for it. And it feels good. But also those days act as a reminder of I don't want to do that every day ever again and multiple times a day.
But when you do, like, let's say yesterday's workout, you saw the goal times. Do you keep that in mind as you're doing it? What you're trying to hit, like the time marks, or no?
No, the goal times usually no, not really. I kind of already know where goal times should be based off of like I know how many seconds each movement takes.
Sure.
I know how to account for a decline in time, and roughly what ballpark should I be able to maintain, and making sure that if as long as I maintain it within that window, this workout has been modified appropriately. So but that I mean, that's our job though, right? Like
Right.
we've been doing this since I was 22. I've done thousands of workouts, and worked with some of the top athletes. Miranda and I go back and forth in how we process things. And so, yeah, for me, kind of how you code or what you do within tech, is that what are you coding?
No, no, I'm not doing any kind of code. My brain's not that smart.
Oh,
But I'm doing more data stuff and just managing all of IT.
yeah.
I think
So how that's second language too for us? It's like I'm able to look at a workout and be like, oh,
true.
this is how long it
I
should
would
take,
say,
and then
yeah,
I can modify it and it'll still work out in my favor, and it adapts to my fitness level, and that way I can still have a good workout and good to go. So
yeah. No, that's great. I think yesterday's workout, when I did that one, the hardest transition for me was the pull ups to the kettlebell swings because my forearms were lit going on those
oh,
kettlebell swings.
absolutely.
I was like, this is ridiculous. And then the first 3 rounds, I did it unbroken. And the last round, the mind is telling me, it's okay if you break. But then the other side of me is saying, no, you did the other three unbroken. Hang on here and finish it off. But it
Right.
was tough. It was
Well,
tough.
that's another way where I had to check my ego too, right? I don't know if you listened to the notes, my tips in the story, but I had said that I started off with strict pull-ups, but then it declined after round
Hmm.
2, and I was like, if I stay doing this, my time is going to drop off dramatically, and it no longer serves the purpose of what the workout was
Sure.
intended to be.
Right.
So then for me, it's an instant switch of, okay, go do one unbroken set and then go to kipping pull-ups because that'll keep you in the range. And then the last round turned into the same thing. And it was able to stay consistent across the board. So, and to me, I'm like, cool. I was able to achieve the stimulus needed. So that was a win for me. Because I
Right.
know that if I ever just wanted to increase my volume on that, it's just that. It's like, okay, well, let me just increase my volume in this movement. And within the next month, congratulations, I can do it. But it's like, but why? You know?
Right. Right. Let me go a fun question here. What is your cheat meal? You had one cheat meal left for the rest of your life. What do we have?
Oh man, I'm gonna have like a cinnamon rolls.
Really?
Like
Okay.
I'll have like a cinnamon roll, I look forward to Christmases because Miranda made this tradition where we have like cinnamon rolls, bacon, and eggs for breakfast. But in
Mhm.
reality, it's cinnamon rolls all day for Christmas. So it's like cinnamon roll, bacon, and eggs, cinnamon roll with like nothing else, cinnamon roll. and but yeah, cinnamon rolls I'm a huge fan of, and or some good old French toast.
So are you more sweets than savory?
No, no,
No.
no, no,
Okay.
no. I on my regular eating, I'm gonna go savory, but like if it's gonna be a cheat meal, it's gonna be definitely like on the sweeter side, like more breakfasty items for sure.
And so, like on your normal eating, like during the week, are you kind of conscious as far as like your protein intake and stuff? I'm just really curious, like the level of maintenance you do for yourself.
Yeah, I would say for me, I know I have to have a minimum of at least 3,000 plus calories to maintain my lean muscle mass at this point. And in general, like uh, I think we're gonna go, we do DEXAs regularly. Thanks, you just reminded me that I have to schedule another one because Miranda and I, that's actually something that we take very seriously. Like, hey, every 6 months we'll go get a DEXA. Where's our bone
Yeah,
density at? Where's our body fat at? Because those are health markers for us that keep us in check, making sure that we don't go off the rails. If it
sure,
fluctuates between 1 or 2%, that's like you look at the season of life that you're in, and you're like, okay, it is what it is. But if it's like a big jump, then hey, what's going on? It could be a moment to reflect. So, what was I going to get at with this question? Um, so for my protein intake, I kind of already know that's the one thing I prioritize above all else.
hmm,
My carbohydrates, I know I have to get them in order to have intensity in my fitness, but I'm not really prioritizing them just because it's not like I'm focusing on hitting intensity every single day,
right,
you
right.
know. But if I was like starting to up my workouts, it's like absolutely like, hey, I need to eat more carbohydrates with my protein. It's super important for me to do that. Um, so yeah, I'm very conscious of what is going into my body at this point.
No, that's good. I was really curious on especially with everything going on for you guys. You got a business, you got kids, you got the house construction, everything. It's time can get away from you. And so, how do you manage that to still fuel yourself and hit your or get close to your goals?
Okay, here's another thing that I will drop as well. I had this conversation the other day with somebody. There's days where like I'll forget to eat breakfast, or I know that I haven't consumed enough calories.
Sure.
This is what might shock people sometimes. I'll go to Starbucks and I'll order a sausage, egg, and cheese muffin with egg bites, and I'll have a daily cold brew with chai foam, or sometimes I'll be like, oh shoot, I'm gonna go eat a crumble cookie with this. I'm less I'm less worried about what kind of calories I'm consuming.
Hmm.
So I make sure I'm still consuming my calories for the day. However, making sure I don't fall into that pattern because now you're starting to um, add a certain kind of nutrition intake that's not optimal for fitness. But if I'm
Right.
noticed like, oh, dude, I just need to get calories in, I'm starving, like I haven't eaten enough. Cool. I'm just gonna hit some like this, and that to get my calories in for the day.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So you don't feel bad with that crumble cookie
I don't feel bad at all. No
then.
way. And I think hopefully that serves as a lesson for people too when they're like, "Oh, one of my biggest things," and I get why this happens. People bring in a cookie or people around like outside of the work environment, right? Um, they'll eat a cookie like, "Oh, I don't eat this all the time." I'm like, I don't care. Like I'm not here.
Right.
I'm not judging you. And oftentimes I'll be like, "Can I have some too?" Because
Which would be a shocker.
I want people to see like, "Hey, this is okay. The cookie is not the problem.
Right. Right.
This individual item is not the problem."
Right.
But
That's a good way. That's a good way to look at it. You're absolutely right, 100%.
yeah, I just want to normalize, like, hey, don't go too deep into like this whole intuitive eating situation, which is like, oh, just go based off of feel. Like in
Yeah.
order for you to go that, I would say for people to start adopting that mindset, I would say that a season of being conscious of what you're consuming is needed, like weighing and measuring and starting. So you kind of okay. It's no different than your finances. How do you take control of your finances?
Hmm.
You have to be able to recognize how you're spending,
Correct.
what you're taking out and putting in.
Yeah.
That's you have to go through a season of that to take control of your finances. It's no different than fit or your nutrition. You have to go through a season of that so that you become conscious of, hey, I'm actually taking in way more and not putting out enough, So
Right. No, that's good. Very good. And that's a great analogy actually with the finances. So that totally makes sense. You got to go back and analyze and track. That's where tracking stuff sometimes can help you. Even just it doesn't have to be an entire year, but even if you track a week, even a week of
I
expenses or
would
a week.
say I would say when it comes to tracking, at least like a month or two. So
Mhm.
because with the month or two, it allows you. Most people, here's the reality, right? Most people eat the same meals over and over and over. Every
Sure.
now and then you'll randomly go out and eat at a different restaurant, but even then, you kind of stick to the same traditional stuff. Oh, let me just get a burger and fries. Let me get the best burger and fries. So it helps add in that variety of the changes in life. But for the most part, most people are like, how, kind of like how they consume their coffee. It's kind of already ingrained in routine for you.
Correct.
Like for me, it's like my breakfast is going to look pretty similar. It's either going to be a scramble, or it's either going to be this, and it's going to look the same always.
Yeah.
Um, we fall
No, it's
into
a habit.
routine. Yeah, it becomes a habit. For people, you're not going to be eating at a different restaurant every single day. Um, you know, it's just, you're not going to do that.
Yeah, like this weekend's like today's NFL opening, and I'm like, I don't care, I'm just gonna eat whatever I want, But I also know conscious like Sunday's gonna be the full game set of games, and I'm like, I usually will grill out, and my son and I will kick back and watch games together. There's no like, I don't feel bad the food I'm gonna put in on
Nah,
that day. It's fine.
what I will say though, even for like Saturdays, right? Like, well, especially with kids, like, how do we incorporate? People ask, like, well, how do you guys incorporate with the kids and stuff? Because, you don't want to make them, super panicky and paranoid. Miranda talks about this moment of that she remembers her mom when she said something about like when she weighed 140 pounds or something, she was worried that it was like reaching a weight of, oh, you're getting fat if you're gonna weigh something similar to that. So that number always ingrained in Miranda's
Sure.
head, like, oh no, like if I go over, recognizing how powerful that could be to our kiddos. So for us, it's about setting traditions, and this is something I praise Miranda on because I grew up with my Mexican parents. Everything was freaking random.
Yeah.
There's no structure,
Yeah.
and so you're like, okay, Saturdays now is the day where we go out to ice cream. Saturdays we'll go out and eat ice cream. Fridays is pizza night.
Right.
Saturdays is salt. There's a place called Salt and Strout here in the Pacific Northwest, which is really good ice cream. We'll go do our activities in the morning, which is like fitness and stuff. And then they do this thing called Kids Strong. We post about it on our story pretty often, where they go and then they look forward to ice cream afterwards. So laying out the foundation. And then Sundays, where we're at right now, we dug out a fire pit, and we'll light a fire and we'll do s'mores
Yeah.
on the fire pit.
Yeah.
So it becomes something that's associated with rituals and like, hey, um, um, what's that word called again that I was just saying? Yeah, Miranda likes to schedule rituals and stuff like that for our family.
Traditions.
Traditions. There we go.
Yeah.
Because if it, making them aware, like, hey, we don't want to have ice cream in our day to day because that is just unnecessary, and that's how we treat our lifestyle for us. So,
But you're also creating memories in the end,
absolutely.
and they remember these memories, honestly. So as they grow older, that, when they see s'mores, they're going to remember, oh, mom and dad, we used to do s'mores on Sunday nights, as they get bigger here. Friday night pizza, and you got to start talking about it. They'll
Yeah,
talk about it with their friends.
and Christmas, they now know, like, hey, Christmas is cinnamon rolls, like,
For
yeah.
sure.
So that's special. So that's how we kind of approach the nutrition side of things. Mm-hmm.
No, that's great. Another thing here really was, I do have a quick story on fitness freedom that probably is crazy. Do you know a member named Joe Tobias? He lives over there in the Pacific Northwest, out right by you guys.
Yes.
Knows him.
Yes.
So when I was at Fitness Freedom, I was wearing an Astros hat, which is up in Houston. And Joe came up to me. He said, "Hey, are you from Houston?" I said, "Yeah." And he said, "So am I." I said, "Oh, cool. You live there too?" He said, "No, I live over there in, right outside of Portland, or I forget the name of the city." I said, "All right." I go, "Where in Houston are you from?" He said, "A-Leaf." I said, "Oh, wow. Well, I went to school out there." And he said, "So did I." So he and I went to the same high school. He was a senior and I was a freshman. And we met at
Whoa,
Fitness Freedom.
dude, that's nuts. How big was your high school?
Oh boy, we had a class of, let's see, my freshman class was a class of 1,500.
Okay, so it was a fairly big school.
No, it was
Your freshman class was
my
1,500?
freshman class was 15. My senior, by the time I graduated, the class had 800.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So Joe was a senior at that time when I was a freshman. We had no idea. We never met. We didn't meet until 2022.
Wow. Man, that's
Yeah.
wild.
Small world, man.
Wow.
So he came over here and we did a workout on Thanksgiving. He come visit his family for Thanksgiving. So we did a garage workout last year. And I think he said he's going to come back this year too. So we'll probably do another workout as well.
Dude, that's awesome, man.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
super cool. I don't think I have any questions, man. All I have left is some kudos to give out.
Hit the kudos, man. People want to hear the kudos.
Yeah, man. So I did up Joe already. Joe, appreciate you doing the workout with me. For those of you who don't know, the best lemon bars are in IKEA. Some of you know is Nikki over there on the West Coast. I already mentioned Gabe and Miori. The one person I want to mention is if you guys don't look up SP Fit Mama, which is Kate. What she's doing with lifting and just crushing all her weight goes is incredible. So keep doing what you're doing. To the ladies in Arizona, Cookie Monster and Erica, shout out to you guys. Yeah. I already mentioned Blair out in Vegas. To my boys in Oklahoma. On the East Coast, probably the nicest Philly sports fan, which you can't even say Philly and nice with sports.
Right.
But Christy, super cool as well. She's got a bakery, so shout out to her. To the trash talking Latina. That's Carla. That's me talking trash back to you because you're always talking smack back to me.
Nice.
and coming back home to Texas, to the beast of Texas is Angel. Man, that guy's a beast. And
Angel's awesome, man. I want to get an episode going with Angel for sure.
Yes, totally do it. And I realized when I was writing these notes about Angel, like there's another guy I've never met, but I see him. He's probably a beast himself, and that's Alex, the president of SP Wolfpack.
Yeah,
I just see all the posts, and I know he does a podcast or a coffee morning thing on Saturdays, but I didn't want to ruffle any feathers here when I talk about Beast of Texas here. And so the ladies of San Antonio, man, props to you guys, that community you have. A special shout out to, as I call her, the El Presidente of Texas, SP Texas, which is Kate. Dude, thank you for opening up your place. Honestly, it's super cool. And finally, that brings me back to my hometown, Houston. This person really, SP Houston, prior to this individual, really, SP Houston was dead. It wasn't really active or anything like that. Last year, Spartan Austin 2023, met the individual first time talking. She's actually the first person I met, her and her husband. That person is Velma Perez. Thank you for what you do for SP Houston. You brought it to life, and now we're doing a meet up here this Saturday for the hill climb. So, and then last one goes out to my son. Really, I hope one day you watch this message. So keep doing great things. Keep working hard. May you never win a basketball game against me. That's my competitive side.
Oh, yeah.
I love you always. That's all I got, man.
Dude, that's awesome, brother. I'm glad we got to catch up, man. I loved hearing your story and how you get through your day to day and stuff. So, obviously, I know we'll definitely be crossing paths in the near future. So that's awesome. You already know. Hit me up anytime if you have any questions. But cool, man.
I appreciate it, William. Thank you. Last but not least, I forgot this part was thank you to you and Miranda for what you have done. It means a lot to not only to me, for the entire squad. But shout out to DH, man. That was the best free agent pickup.
DH is the best, man. Yeah,
super cool, man. So a lot of love for him. And the other one that I really enjoy, she's sarcastic but super cool with the jokes, is Alex. She's man, awesome, really. Hopefully, we'll bring another title, even though I know we're not doing the Julio Miranda Alex thing anymore. But hey, it's all good and fun. But sincerely grateful for you guys, honestly. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, actually, I want your opinion on this because this is something that the Born Primitive shoe. Would you say you're more of a fan of this color or?
Oh man, I'm going with the first one, gum.
Yeah, the gum bottom, right?
Yeah, I love the gum. I've always loved the gum bottom, so I'm always going with that.
Okay, perfect. Yeah.
When are these coming out? I mean, you able to? Is it going to be this year? Let me ask it that way.
That's a question that I don't have the answer to at the moment.
Man, it'd be great during Christmas time,
I think it might be a pre-order, but I might be speaking a little ahead, but I think it might be. But I'm pumped for it, man. I think they're great people, and actually, I really rock their shoe all the time. And so when they were like, "Hey, we want to create something for you," I'm like, "All right, well." like I love when we have our brand on stuff, but I also,
Aspen.
I also don't want people to like blow it up too much either. It's just like, look, I like the subtleness of street parking.
Exclusive.
Yeah, I really do. I really do.
Yeah. No, those are clean. I mean, I haven't tried that brand. I do like the brand Rad, RAD. I think you're
Right.
familiar with
Okay.
them.
No. Mm-mm.
They are, so I've done Metcons, I've done Nanos and No Bills, but Rad to me have been the best shoe. So they've been super comfortable. So I've heard great things about the one you're holding. So I may look to that just because you got the swag with the SP logo. Those are clean. Those are going to get dirty real quick, honestly.
I know, man. But yeah, the people they clean really well, which is the good thing, and they're like a nice shoe that you could rock out casually too, out and about. And I think that's the biggest thing that I can
What about
appreciate.
running?
Not distance. Like if you're doing intervals, yeah,
400
like you could,
meters?
yeah, 400, 800, but anything more than that, definitely. It's got to be interval based. It can't be like if you're just running a long distance. No way.
Okay.
No
Yeah, I
way.
look forward to them. I was really surprised that you guys are going to release something like that. So that's nice. I think that's probably one of the bigger ones, bigger because usually it's t-shirts and stuff like that. But the shoe, that's clean.
Awesome. Cool, man. Thank you for your input on that. All right, we'll check in soon, brother. Okay.
Take care, man.
Have a good day and say hello to the sun for us.
Will do. Take care.
All right, later, man.